My teacher asked why I never talk about my family, and I accidentally made the whole class cry. I had a system for family assignments. Whenever a teacher said, write about your parents, or bring in a family photo, or make a family tree, I would write about a fictional family I'd been building since 3rd grade. Mom was a veterinarian named Linda. Dad was an engineer named Phil. I had a golden retriever named Captain, and a little sister named Bree, who was annoying but lovable. I had their whole backstory memorized better than most TV shows because I'd been performing the Linda and Phil show for 7 years, and not a single teacher had ever questioned it. The real answer was too complicated, and the fake one made everyone comfortable, especially me. So when my junior year English teacher, Mrs. Adler, assigned a personal essay called Where I Come From, I pulled out the Linda and Phil script, like always. Wrote 3 pages about Phil teaching me to ride a bike, and Linda making terrible pancakes on Sunday mornings. Got an A-, except Mrs. Adler wrote a note at the bottom that said, beautifully written, but I don't believe a single word. See me after class. Nobody had ever said that before. I sat in front of her desk and she said, you're the best writer in this class by a mile, Ren. And that essay is completely hollow. Who are Linda and Phil? I said they were my parents. She said, your emergency contact is listed as Dolores Navarro, relationship foster mother. You've had 4 different emergency contacts in 3 years. She said, I'm not going to force you, but the assignment is called Where I Come From, not Where I Wish I Came From. If you ever want to write the real version, I'll read it. I went home and sat on the floor of the room Dolores let me sleep in. It wasn't really mine. None of them were ever really mine. I'd been in foster care since I was 2. 7 homes in 15 years. Some were fine, some were not fine. I don't rank them because ranking trauma feels like giving it a performance review. I had a garbage bag under the bed with everything I owned. Not because Dolores was bad, she was actually decent. But garbage bags were what I knew. You learn to pack light when people can give you back like a library book. I started writing at 11 p.m. and didn't stop until 4 in the morning. No Linda, no Phil, no Captain, no Sunday pancakes. I wrote about the garbage bag. I wrote about being 9 and a foster mother returning me the day before Christmas because her biological daughter didn't want to share her toys. I wrote about learning to cook at 7 because one house didn't feed us after 6 p.m. I wrote about the family tree assignment in 5th grade where I drew a tree with no branches and my teacher thought I just didn't try. I wrote about how I built Linda and Phil because I needed parents who stayed even if they only existed on paper. I turned it in and immediately wanted to steal it back. At the end of the week, Mrs. Adler asked if I'd read it out loud for open essay day. I said absolutely not. She said, what if I read it? I won't say your name. No one has to know who wrote it. I said fine because for some stupid reason, I trusted this woman. Monday came and Mrs. Adler stood in front of the class holding my essay. She said, I'm going to read an anonymous piece from someone in this room. I need you to just listen. She started reading. A few kids were on their phones. Grady in the back was drawing on his desk, but by the 2nd paragraph, the phones were down. By the 3rd, when she read the part about being returned the day before Christmas, Grady stopped drawing. By the time she got to the family tree with no branches, the girl in front of me, Sutton, had her hand over her mouth. Mrs. Adler's voice cracked on the paragraph about Linda and Phil. She had to stop and take a breath before she read the line, I built parents out of paper because the real ones didn't want to build me. When she finished, nobody spoke. Then Sutton turned around and looked at me. I don't know how she knew. Maybe my face gave it away. Maybe I was the only one not looking at anyone. She whispered, is that you? I didn't answer, but my eyes were already spilling over. Then Grady said from the back of the room, whoever wrote that is the strongest person I've ever heard of. Sutton reached back and grabbed my hand and didn't let go for the rest of the period. After class, 11 kids waited in the hallway. Grady handed me a note that said, you don't need fake parents. You've got 27 of us now. I still carry that note, except it's in a suitcase now, not a garbage bag. Dolores bought it for me the day I told her about the essay. She said, people who are staying don't live out of garbage bags.